I've worked with professionals on the edge for more than 20 years. Doctors, teachers, executives, and parents who carried too much for too long. People who looked strong on the outside but were quietly breaking on the inside. I've seen hearts that never stopped beating, but minds that finally did. And I need you to hear me clearly. Burnout is not a trend. It's not just being tired. It's the moment your body, your mind, and your spirit decide they can't keep pretending anymore. Every week I meet people over 40 who tell me the same story. They wake up exhausted, stare at the mirror and whisper, "I can't do this anymore." They push through meetings, deadlines, and expectations, until one day, they can't push at all. Their hands shake, their chest tightens, their memory fades. Some collapse at work thinking it's a heart attack when it's actually a full nervous breakdown caused by years of chronic stress. That's burnout, a silent emergency that destroys, from the inside out. But here's the truth. You can recover. You can take back control before burnout takes everything from you. Science and experience both show there are 7 essential steps that can pull you back from the edge. Steps that everyone over 40 needs to know to protect their mind, their health, and their purpose. Let's go through them, one by one. 7. Recognize the hidden signs. Before it's too late. Burnout doesn't start with collapse. It starts with small betrayals of your body and your spirit, and you ignore them. You begin waking up tired even after a full night's sleep. You forget appointments. You lose patience with people you love, and slowly you stop feeling altogether, not sad, not angry, just numb. In medicine, we know the body always whispers before it screams. Studies from the World Health Organization show that prolonged stress changes brain chemistry, lowering serotonin, raising cortisol, and impairing memory. That's why people in burnout zones often feel detached, disoriented, and emotionally flat. I once treated a 45-year-old manager who used to say, "I'll rest when I'm dead." He laughed when his hands started trembling, blamed it on coffee, and kept working late. One afternoon he forgot his computer password, the same one he'd used for years. When he finally came to my clinic, his blood pressure was through the roof, his cortisol levels tripled, and his nervous system was in full overload. He wasn't weak. He was burning alive from the inside out. Recognizing the early signs is the first act of survival. If you're constantly exhausted, emotionally distant, or forgetful, don't call it laziness or aging. It's your body begging for help. Ignoring these signs is like driving with the oil light flashing red. Eventually, the engine shuts down. 6. Break the cycle of urgency. Few people talk about this, but the most dangerous addiction in modern life isn't caffeine or sugar. It's urgency. We live trapped in a constant state of now. Every message demands a reply. Every task feels critical. Every email feels like a fire. But here's the truth. If everything is urgent, nothing truly is. Burnout thrives in this endless emergency. When your brain is flooded with adrenaline day after day, it forgets how to rest. You start believing that slowing down means failure. And that belief slowly destroys your creativity, your health, and your joy. A 52-year-old nurse once told me, something I'll never forget. I don't remember the last time I ate lunch without rushing. Her body was trapped in fight-or-flight mode 24 hours a day. When I asked her what rest felt like, she cried. She couldn't remember. Here's what science tells us. Urgency is a mental illusion created by stress hormones. To break it, you must reprogram your nervous system. When something stressful happens at work, pause for 10 seconds before reacting. Take one deep breath in through your nose, exhale slowly through your mouth. It sounds simple, but neuroscience proves that a 10-second pause can switch your brain from survival mode to reasoning mode. That's how you start taking back control from burnout, by refusing to live in constant emergency. 5. Calm the body before you calm the mind. Most people try to think their way out of burnout. They read motivational quotes, force positive thoughts, and wonder why nothing changes. But medicine is clear. You cannot calm your mind if your body is still in panic mode. When stress builds for months or years, Your body becomes chemically addicted to speed. Faster heartbeat, shorter breathing, constant tension. That's why even in bed, you can't relax. To heal, you have to interrupt that cycle physically. The fastest way is through deep, intentional breathing. Place one hand on your stomach, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 1, and exhale through pursed lips for 6. Repeat 5 times. This activates your vagus nerve, the body's natural brake, reducing cortisol and blood pressure within minutes. A Stanford University study showed that practicing deep breathing for just 2 weeks reduced fatigue and anxiety by nearly 30%. This isn't self-help fluff. It's physiology. Every slow breath tells your brain, I am safe. And when your body believes that, your mind finally begins to heal. Before you chase motivation or inspiration, start with something ancient and free, breathing. Because until your body slows down, your mind will keep running marathons you never signed up for. 4. Create physical boundaries in a digital world. If burnout had a best friend, its name would be always available. Every ping, every notification, every late-night message keeps your brain on call, like an emergency doctor who never leaves the hospital. But even doctors go off duty. If you don't, you will collapse. Creating physical boundaries in a digital world isn't selfish, it's survival. Set a rule: no work emails after 8 p.m. Turn off notifications at least 1 hour before bed. Keep your phone outside the bedroom. These aren't luxuries, they're prescriptions. A 48-year-old financial analyst came to me trembling with exhaustion. He hadn't gone a single night in 10 years without checking his inbox. We started small. He left his phone in the kitchen after 9 p.m. Within a week, he was sleeping 2 hours longer each night. After a month, his resting heart rate dropped by 12 beats per minute, all because he stopped letting work live in his pocket 24 hours a day. Harvard researchers confirm that disconnecting from screens just 30 minutes before sleep improves mood, memory, and next-day focus. You're not lazy for needing space. You're human. Think of it this way: no heart can beat without rhythm. Your mind needs rhythm too. Moments of connection and moments of silence. Every time you step away from the screen, you're not losing productivity, you're regaining oxygen. And when you start to recognize the signs, break the cycle of urgency, calm your body, and set real boundaries, something begins to change. The chaos starts to slow down. The mind, once in constant alert, finally begins to breathe again. But there's a deeper step ahead. The moment when you must reconnect with what makes you human, not just productive. That's where true healing begins. When the noise finally quiets and you start creating space to breathe again, something unexpected happens. The silence feels strange, even uncomfortable. You've lived so long inside the noise that stillness almost feels dangerous. But don't run from it. That silence isn't emptiness. It's where you finally start hearing yourself again. And that's the moment when real recovery begins. 3. Reconnect with life beyond work. Burnout grows wherever identity shrinks. When all your worth depends on what you produce, the moment you stop producing, you feel invisible. That's the lie burnout tells. That your doing matters more than your being. I once treated a 46-year-old architect who confessed, "If I'm not working, I feel like I don't exist." She had everything society calls success: awards, clients, recognition. Yet inside, she felt hollow. Her healing didn't start with medication or therapy sessions. It started with something far simpler. She began painting again, something she hadn't done since her 20s. That single act, touching color with her hands instead of deadlines on a keyboard, woke up a part of her that had been asleep for decades. Science supports this. Engaging in non-work, creative activities releases dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals that rebuild motivation, joy, and trust. Doing something for no purpose other than joy rewires your emotional center. So, if you're drowning in exhaustion, start with this question: who am I when I'm not working? Reconnect with What makes you human? Not productive. Walk, paint, cook, garden, sing, write, play. The activity doesn't matter. The reconnection does. Your nervous system needs beauty the same way your lungs need oxygen. When you allow yourself to experience joy without guilt, you remind your body that it's safe to exist beyond pressure. That's not luxury, that's medicine. 2. Speak the truth. Healing begins when you stop. Hiding burnout survives in silence. The more you hide it, the deeper it grows. We live in a culture that glorifies endurance and mistakes exhaustion for pride. But burnout isn't a moral failure, it's biology. No human body was designed to carry constant pressure without relief. I remember a 50-year-old teacher who whispered when she first spoke to me, "I think I'm going crazy." She wasn't. She was simply alone in her pain. For years she smiled for her students, her family, her friends, and cried only in the car on the way home. When she finally said the words, out loud she broke down in tears. The first tears she'd allowed herself in months. That wasn't weakness, it was release. Within weeks, her blood pressure dropped. Her headaches eased. She started sleeping again. Because the body heals when the mind no longer has to carry secrets. Research from the American Psychological Association proves it. Bottling emotions increases stress hormone levels by nearly 50%. Simply sharing your struggle with someone you trust lowers those levels dramatically. So talk to a friend, a counselor, a spouse, a mentor, a pastor, anyone who can hold your story without judgment. And if no one is there to listen, write. Keep a journal where you pour everything out. No filters, no perfection. Writing doesn't fix everything, but it organizes chaos. It turns fog into focus. Silence is not strength. Silence is suffocation. You don't heal by hiding what hurts. You heal the moment you stop pretending you're fine. 1. Redefine what success really means. This is the hardest and most liberating step of all. Because surviving burnout isn't just about breathing slower or working less. It's about rewriting the story that's been driving you for decades. You've probably been chasing success defined by others. Deadlines, numbers, achievements, applause. But here's the truth no one tells you. Achievement without alignment will destroy you. I once counseled a 55-year-old CEO. He had everything: money, status, the corner office. And yet he looked at me and said, "I've built an empire I don't even want to live in." That confession didn't break him. It saved him. He stepped away for 6 months, learned to meditate, volunteered at a community center, and came back to work on his own terms. He didn't quit success. He redefined it. He stopped asking, "How much can I achieve?" and started asking, "How much life can I feel?" That's the key to freedom. Redefining success means replacing perfection with presence. It means valuing energy more than efficiency, connection more than competition. It means understanding that rest is not the opposite of work. It's the foundation of it. When you live aligned with what truly matters, your faith, your health, your relationships, burnout loses its grip. Because burnout only survives where meaning has died. Setting boundaries, reconnecting with life, speaking your truth, and redefining success. You're not just escaping burnout, you're rebuilding yourself. Recovery isn't fast. It's not perfect. Some days you'll feel strong, others you'll stumble back into old habits. That's okay. Healing isn't about speed, it's about direction. Every deep breath, every boundary honored, every honest conversation, it all counts. Burnout doesn't mean you're broken. It means you cared so deeply, for so long, that you forgot to include yourself in that care. When you finally give yourself permission to rest, to feel, to stop, you're not quitting. You're choosing life. You're remembering that your worth was never measured by how much you can endure, but by the fact that you exist. So breathe. Slow down. disconnect. Your life, your real life, begins again the moment you stop running from yourself.